I'm Patrick,
I'm Colleen.
and this is our podcast. How are you, Colleen?
I'm doing pretty good. It's been one of those crazy days, but how about you? You're in New York. What's going on?
I am. I got here yesterday. Well, actually, let's be specific. It's Jersey City, New Jersey, which
Okay.
is where I was living until about a year ago, whenever it was. Yeah. So I'm in Jersey City. A man of a certain age has certain specialists to see. And so I came here for the week to see my dentist and um, I think I want to see if I miss it here. And I was kind of curious what was going on in New York City. So I wanted to spend the week and see if it was a ghost town, if I miss it. I had kind of fallen out of love with New York and New Jersey before the pandemic. So I was kind of curious if I'd feel nostalgic about anything. So first day here, still getting acclimated to the area, a lot more people than I'm used to versus
So there are a lot of people. It's not like ghost town.
No, it wasn't. It was actually very surprising because I got here, immediately got in an Uber, went to my favorite Italian restaurant in the East Village, which you know well because you've been there before. And it was a particularly nice spring day. And to me, it didn't look any different than a nice spring day in New York City because there were tons of people sitting outside in restaurants. And I don't know if it's just because of social distancing, they don't have a lot of people inside. But if you were to go by the outside, you wouldn't have really, in my mind, thought that there was anything different. No,
So there was not like a lot of masks or anything. It was.
It's so funny to me. You'd think in a smaller town with very limited exposure, like I have in New Hampshire, everybody's pretty serious. They wear their masks, and I do notice more of the people that are doing the. And I'm fascinated by that. I'm like, how so I don't want to.
That drives me crazy, though. Pull it out.
But yeah, so it's nice to be back. I mean, I'm gonna go to my wellness center this week. I do, this, flotation and cryotherapy and all
I've
that
been so
craziness.
freaking curious about that since I saw the pod thing that you
Mhm.
posted one time. Can you tell me about that?
Oh, well, it reminds me of that Lady Gaga pod that she came into the Grammys in, but it's really a dark room. It's a pod. You're in Epsom salt, which your body naturally floats in. The room is completely dark and you just float for, at the time it was 90 minutes, for an hour.
You have to be able to swim. Will you sink?
No, your body, I think Epsom salt naturally floats you. Like you just sort of float, like you are.
I'm so scared.
No, well, you don't, you kind of don't even realize that you're floating and it's dark and it's really, really wonderful. You genuinely leave your body. I do feel like it's an out of body experience. And I feel like being displaced, and I feel like being stuck at a computer in dark winter during COVID, I need to kind of unleash all of the crap of the last year out of my body. So
I want to say I saw an episode of, I think it was The Big Bang Theory, and I think Sheldon and Amy went on a date or something, or somebody went on a date to the Epsom salt pod.
Yeah, it's super hard to just, you feel like you're gonna float. You feel like give you things for your ears, so like water's not getting in your ears, because that was what I was worried about. And you can have the hippy dippy kind of stars on the top of the pot if you want.
Oh my god,
or it can be
I would
completely
love that.
black. It can be completely black. I think you can play music, but I just completely go dark, no
Just
light.
black. You don't do any kind of lights at all.
No.
Do you I know that if it's really dark in the room and I close my eyes, I see colors and everything like that. Do you have that experience, or do you see dark the whole time?
I don't know. I feel like I see dark. I know what you're talking about. Those
I even see sometimes Cheech faces like me.
Well, what's weird about it is I was reading this book called Broken People. It's by this Sam Lansky, and it's these people that go off to, I don't know, these retreats in California, and they take these hallucinogens that last 2 days, and they kind of leave their body and time travel and stuff like that. And it's the closest thing to what that feels like in the pod. I feel like I time
without
travel.
the drug.
No, I feel like I'm time traveling. I feel like I'm visiting places in my past that I hadn't thought of in a really long time. It's super cool.
Oh God,
Super
now
cool.
I really want to try it. I
Well,
get
yeah,
a
no, it's
little
a
bit
great.
claustrophobic, so I'm a little bit nervous about that, but I'd probably be okay.
I wasn't too. I thought that I would just be like, I need to get out of here, just because like I would be bored. I think I was more afraid of being bored. Like, okay, now
Mm.
what do you do? I didn't expect that I would drift off. I don't know that I'm falling asleep. I didn't when I had my broken foot. I'm trying to figure out how I floated with a broken foot.
You come
Anyway, so
out,
it's
you
not
have
as
salt
claustrophobic.
all over you? Do you like
Yeah,
have to wash it off?
well,
Like,
there's little shower stalls in there. It's a private room to yourself, and you do have like a little crystally kind of salt all over you. But it's this really wonderful wellness center called Home Wellness here in Jersey City. So
hmm.
I feel like coming here, staying in a hotel, sleeping, eating, visiting my old stomping grounds, and kind of like recharging my body is going to be good for me. And I still am not sure if I miss it here. I'm not sure.
Have you seen anybody that you know yet?
The restaurant people knew me. That was kind of
Well,
nice. That well, but I haven't been in there in such a super long time that it was really
heavenly.
like
Were
I
they
felt
like,
like home.
welcome back? Because I remember when we went in, you took us out there because it was Jim's birthday and you took us out to a nice dinner when we were driving through. And I remember everyone, like I felt special because everybody knew you and were
Well,
telling you.
it's a great place called Arterestaurant, and I feel like the restaurant in Moonstruck where the waiter's Bobo and Olympia Dukakis says, Bobo, I'll have this, because I've been there by myself 100 different times alone. I've definitely brought friends there, and I brought hundreds of dates there. So I always think that they must think I'm like the old guy with his students every time I go in there, because it was like a good date place. But that is really nice, and so that part's been good. And we have roots back in New Jersey here for 100 different years. So I did drive through Edgewater, which is
Oh
where
my
we lived.
God.
And was it
Mhm.
94? 94?
It was 94 through 96. It was those 2 years. Was it? It seemed
Yeah,
like so much longer than 2 years. It
it
had to
did. Well,
be.
we partied so much. So we partied in such a concentrated manner that it did seem you weren't there very long. I think it's sort of like Farrah
Right.
Fawcett
You were
On
there longer.
Charlie's
I was like the
Angels.
brief beginnings, the beginnings of New Jersey.
But it is kind of fun to drive through, and drive over the George Washington Bridge and take the turn where Ziggy's, the bar that you worked in, used to be, and it's not there anymore. So it's nice to be back. And it was really nice. I thought of you because I wasn't sure if you read it, but without any of us having a commute, I don't know. Do you listen to podcasts at all?
I actually don't. This is, I'm like, I listen to people talking about podcasts. So I get my podcasts like in little snippets from you, from my friend Jenny, from Lindsay. Like
Mhm.
I do that and get that, but in Cassie, but I really, I want to, but I just,
And I don't have a commute anymore. And so I don't have any ability to listen to a podcast. And if I'm at the gym, it's typically in a class or with a trainer. So it's not like I'm zoned out. So yeah, that's my journey and my classy white wine in plastic glass. It reminds me of the urine sample that I'm drinking here. So
you're at the Westin though, aren't you?
yeah, I
This is where you
am.
put us
Yeah,
up.
it's fun. Yeah, I mean, it's like I said, it was hopping here. There was either a quinceañera or a happy 18th, or tons of people coming in that very promy type of outfits with huge balloons, and
Well, it's
yeah.
April. Yeah, it's probably what are their beds called? Like it just hit me. They have that like the dream bed or something like that.
I don't know what it's called, but they do, I think, have some kind of like because
It's a
I think it's
spec.
in the elevators. I think in the elevators they talk about it, but yeah, so we'll see what the week has in store. But it was nice to listen to some podcasts. I
Yeah.
knocked off a couple of really long ones. Bret Easton Ellis does one that I was listening to, which is very interesting. But so you're doing that scary journey of real estate
Oh
kind of
my God. Mhm. So we,
Isn't it weird at our age that we're just finally, and well, actually you guys have, you and Jim have owned a home, but it's amazing me to think that we're both looking to buy properties and
I
at this
know, and
age.
we're in our young
Yeah,
50s.
right.
Yeah. I know it's really strange and it's a horrible time right now too, because I guess it's a seller's market.
Mhm.
So everything is really crazy right now and everything is going like it's like as soon as you look at something, it's sold. So you have to be like, yes, I want it and be totally prepared to buy it at any
And
second.
does, and do you think of it, are you having that scary thought in your head, like this is our retirement home, like all of the creepy things
This
that
is
I'm
where I'm
thinking
gonna
of, like,
die. Yes.
yeah.
Yeah, actually, that's exactly what I'm thinking. But the other thing I'm thinking is, okay, because we still have a slew of kids living with us, like we
Hmm.
still have everybody there. So, like, I'm thinking, okay, this is going to be the last place that we looked at that we loved is a long ways for Eddie to drive to work, Frankie to drive to work. Not too bad for Michael, not too bad for Jim. Horrible for Kristen to drop Ellie off. So it's one of those things that I start feeling all of that, and I'm like, hey, wait a minute, this is where I'm going to live for a long time. They can temporarily deal with whatever
Hmm.
happens, but it's hard to let that kind of stuff go with your kids. Like I really feel like I'm responsible for every little piece of their lives, and they're all over 18. So I really need to like kind of
Pick
let
them
that.
out.
Yeah, bye. This place is gorgeous though. I hope we get it. And just almost so that I don't have to look at any more houses. I mean, I went to one, I was kind of excited. It looked like it had some land and everything, but I could hear the banjos playing as I was going down the road towards this place. And when the guy opened the door, I was like so scared. And it was very Silence of the Lambs actually more than Deliverance. Because when I went in, I kind of like felt like, when the doorbell rings and
Was everything infrared?
that's almost like what it felt like. So yeah, I was scared. And then I was like, I really don't want to look at any more houses. So I'm really hoping this kind of nice one that's a little bit out there, but it'll be fine. It'll be
Did you
fine.
see,
I
I
could die
somewhere,
there.
because you stay in a hotel and every time you turn the TV on, it's Mario Lopez talking about, the in-room television, or pay $300 to watch Wonder Woman 1984. But there was this blip of Jodie Foster that came up. Did she have a movie recently that I missed? I'm very unplugged with movies right now.
I'm pretty unplugged with movies too because you're not like it's there like I almost refuse to go through them because it's going to be like $20 to watch them and I want to wait till they're like $4.99. So
I don't even know if I've seen any of the Academy Award nominees. I don't think I've seen any of them.
I think I've seen a couple, but I can't remember.
Yeah,
I
no,
think I was like, oh, really? That did get nominated.
it was
Um,
weird to see the AMC movie theater over here that I used to go to all the time. And I do miss going into a movie theater. I
I
do. I
know.
didn't
Oh
think I
my
did, but like
God.
being by, I don't know, a skeevy one in a mall is where I'm going to go next. But yeah, no, I saw the Jodie Foster. That made me think of that Jodie Foster ad. She had some kind of a gray bob. I was like, but
She hasn't
oh,
done anything for a while. I wonder what
no,
that
you know
is.
what I wanted to ask you? Did you finish Servant?
I
The
finished
Apple.
Servant. Did you?
No, I'm a couple episodes away.
What do
But
you
it's
think
so,
of the second one? Are you as captivated as the first season or
the same problem I had with the first season is it's so goddamn dark. Like it is so dark. I have such a hard time. Like I'm trying to adjust settings on the TV, and then I realize it's just the
oh
show and the way.
you mean the
Oh,
darkness
it's
of
dark. It's
everything.
like
Yeah.
redhead Harry Potter kid. I'm like, wait. Um, so it's hard for me to tell. I'm definitely at that point where it's really ramped up. So it's hard for me to tell because it kind of was that way. It was kind of that way in the first season. I like it. It's entertaining. I like everybody that's in it. I don't think I remembered the husband being such a bad actor because he's kind of a bad actor.
He is a
He was
bad
so
actor.
delicious to
Yeah,
look
I
at
was
in
gonna
the first
say.
thing, but I was like, he's actually pretty bad.
He's so cute though that I almost like I can't help but forgive him. And he's sweet, and I mean I can't
and again,
him.
I haven't finished it, but the uncle who was so scary to me the first wasn't at all to me. He seemed like a vaudeville.
He's very vaudeville. The thing with what's the director's name again? My God, I can't think.
Well, it was created M. Night Shyamalan.
Yeah, that's right. And I've been kind of disappointed with some of his recent things. So when you told me about it, of course I had to like watch it and everything, but I was a little bit nervous. And this second season kind of brought some of that back, but now I'm okay. If that, like after finishing it,
yeah,
like I'm okay again.
I need to have that.
But there were like there were three episodes like before the last two, I think, that kind of made me go, ee. And then I was okay again.
Yeah, so I think I'm on those last two.
Okay, you're gonna be. It is good. I mean, and there'll be. I would think there's gonna be a third season. I'm pretty sure.
Yes. So what else have you been watching?
Well, I'm watching Schitt's Creek right now, and I'm watching it
right.
one episode every other day to make it last. It's so horrible. Like I turn it right off and I like pick up a book or do something else because I'm itching to watch it all. Like I want to do a marathon, but then if I do, I'll feel sick to my stomach and sad that it's over. And I can't do that to myself right now. It's depressing enough looking for freaking houses. I can't end shit right now.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. Yeah, I watched the Real World New York Homecoming. I don't know how much you were into the Real World. I don't feel like you were.
I was never.
I don't really feel like you got into it that much, right?
No, the only time I was into any kind of reality shows is Survivor, and then anything that you ever showed me, like Anna Nicole and like different things that you would. I
watched that recently, and it was actually. One, she's incredible and whatever. I think that there's nothing that she can do wrong. I mean, some of those episodes that you feel really, I don't know if I could say that because when she's so whacked out.
With her son.
Well, no, but like at that Christmas party when she is so out of sorts and so like drunk and they're doing the show. But I've been that Crawley on the floor. Shelly like whacking at her cousin or whatever that was, but yeah, so I watched the Real World Homecoming, and it was fine, I guess, so if you haven't watched it, I would recommend it, but it's almost like one of those things that you would have to like sort of you'd have to sort of have been really hardcore into it when it was first on. Otherwise,
yeah, I think so. Like you at least have to have like the beginnings, that foundation in order to do it. Like I had a tiny little bit, but it was mostly like vicariously through you.
Well, it's so funny because I remember I applied for it and you had to apply. I remember our friend Michelle did those photos of me at St. Gaudens. Mm-hmm. And I remember I had to write something, and I remember sending a video cassette audition tape to MTV for that show. So
that's so much cooler than me sending pictures for Love's Baby Soft.
I had such a flashback of that Love's Baby Soft pictures of yours. I feel like, where was that weird creek brook that you were in? Because I swear Ruth and I drove by that.
It was in Hartford. My mom's friend was a nurse that her husband was a photographer and offered to take the pictures, and the brook was outside there. It was walking distance. I mean, it was right outside their home. It was the grill, the hibachi grill.
Endeavor of you signing up for that or entering that. That was not a just like go tap dance at the local fair. Like you got a perm, you got like clothes. It was supposed to be a prelude to Miss America, Pat. Like my mother, like, and all the dental work that my mother put into my mouth, like, was all a prelude to shoot. I think my mother really thought, which is lovely,
that she thought I was beautiful enough to be Miss America.
Oh, no, that's sweet. I told you your mother's, your Sunday dreaming when you would come in on Monday and you would throw some story like, my mom and I are decided we're going to get a horse. And I would be, you can't, you have no place for the horse. Well, we're going to rent a unrealistic. But she humored that so much with you. And I think that there's a piece of me that was a little jealous of that sort of, you would come in and it would be, I'm going to apply to Love's Baby Soft.
As I nibbled on a Suzy Q that my father glitzily would buy because he bought all those. But that was bad. That was like not that it was all out of love, but all of that indulgence was probably the reason that I was like, that I had such horrible eating habits and everything that caught up with me one day. So.
Well, and you were by yourself at night because your parents had very oft time jobs that I feel like you had the luxury. Again, another thing that I would be, why does she get to eat Suzy Q's at night? Well, it's you had this ability to, you were all by yourself from when Eddie would go to bed because he had to get up at the crack of dawn or not even the crack of dawn. And then your mom wasn't home until 11:30.
Yeah, so just as prisoner cell block H would end, I would click off the TV and run to my room so she wouldn't catch me still up.
But you had the store next door. So like, what kid wouldn't be next door at the store buying Suzy Q's if they had a father that had to get up at 3 a.m. So he went to bed at 5 and your mom was breezing in. Well, you would have to turn off Prisoner Cell Block H and run to your bedroom. I was still awake watching it with my mother.
See?
Scary.
Yes.
That show scared me.
It was scary, and you had your mother to watch it with. I was like, I would have all the lights out with my finger on the switch because her headlights would come in those front windows. So I would know she was home and have to run and sometimes miss the very last thing. So I'd have all these things going through my head. You had your mother to process it with, at least.
I guess, she typically, if I remember in my mind, this could have been one night or every night, but she would, this was every night, she would smoke a bong, she's bongs, and we would watch Mary Hartman, and she would laugh at all these things I did not understand. I'm sure, I think you had to be stoned, and I think you had to be an adult to watch it. And then we would watch that Prisoner Cell Block H, because I think Mary Hartman was 11 to 11:30, and then I think 11:30 to 12, or maybe the reverse. But
I don't remember. I think my mother would get home at 11. She got out at 11, so it was about 11:30 she got home. So
it was probably the reverse, or, prime time ended at like 10 o'clock at night back then too. So like Mary Hartman could have been on at 10:30 after the nightly news. What's this? True. What's this mug of yours?
Oh, yeah, it's Martin Luther King. This is, can you see it?
Oh, I love that.
Frankie went to Atlanta on a school trip just as COVID was creeping in. I was like, no. And, everybody thought it was okay, but he went to Atlanta. He didn't get COVID, but it was just as it was like everything was starting to happen. And he went, and he purchased it for me there. He got to.
Oh, that's wonderful. That's great. Yeah. But yeah, so Prisoner Cell Block H has me so.
Who was Heather? Who was that actress that I call her Heather, but wasn't she Heather in General Hospital? She wasn't Heather in Prisoner Cell Block H. The gravelly voice, kind of long-haired one.
Were they? I thought. Are you sure that there was cross-pollination in casting between General Hospital and Cell Block H?
100%. That just that.
The kids would say, "I'm gonna have to Google that when we're done."
Whoever was Heather, I can't remember her name on Prisoner Cell Block H, but she was freaking scary on Prisoner Cell Block H. She was one of the.
Weren't some of those in black and white?
They were all in black and white.
But
it was purposely in black and white. It didn't have
for
to be.
Effect.
I think so, for the dark.
Yeah, no, it's so funny, I guess. But yeah, Heather, and now it's going to drive me crazy. I know which Heather that you mean, but I really feel like there was not General Hospital actors
No,
on
it
her show.
100% was. I have to Google it now. You can keep talking.
No, it's so funny that you talk about General Hospital because I don't know what made me think of it. I found a really bizarre HGTV show that was hosted by Bobby from General Hospital.
Oh my God, Bobby. Chi-Chi, who
So
was that? That was
Jackie Zeman is all I
that's
think,
right.
but it was like this very like strange. Jackie Zeman goes into a coal mine, with these coal miners show. So I was thinking about General Hospital the other day. I was never big on those soap operas, oddly.
I was big on that one for a while. Okay, Robin Matson as Heather Weber. I think that is her. So if I go to her, I can probably find her in filmography.
Oh, goodness. Yeah, I know who you mean now, but I don't. For some reason, I felt like it was like an import from like Canada, like or something. I didn't really
maybe, but
feel
maybe she was there. I can't be wrong.
I think you're blurring. Maybe Heather on General Hospital went to jail, and suddenly that is she was on
How
prisoner
could this
Hallmark.
be? I might be wrong.
So,
Okay.
what's your week like? What is your week looking like?
Well, we have a file audit tomorrow. That's fun. But I'm not there because I'm remote. So I get to sit back and be like, okay, do whatever you will and send me the email of what I have to fix. It's so nice not being there in person. And I went back on last Friday, just to get some things done. And as soon as I walked in, all hell broke loose. And it was so nice to be able to say, by going back to my home office.
Well, how do you, it's funny because half of the challenge with audits is those damn auditors being in the office, scurrying through your stuff. And
I don't like people going through my stuff, not even people like that are there. Like I've had people call and say, hey, can I go into your file and get this file? And I'm like, why don't I just come and do it? I'll drive 10 miles to come do it for you. I don't know why. I'm kind of like, I like my stuff, and I don't like things being put back, even out of alphabetical order.
Well, and I always look at it. I always felt like when I worked in retail banking and you got audited, it always felt like somebody was trying to trick you. So it felt like every question was like a trick. Like,
but what's great about it with social services is you can because most of the time that the auditors in any kind of social service setting have been there, they've either been an executive in a nonprofit or they've done something in nonprofit. So one of the tricks I found is to tell a compelling story that makes them kind of emotional or kind of pulls at their heartstrings. And then
and aren't they heartless people? So does
they aren't though, because then if you can show the story, I feel like especially in social services, if you can show the story, then they think you're doing your job, or hopefully they know that you're doing your job. If you can, oh, that's like Charlie and he's so cute, and you give people a face instead of all this paperwork and this hard copy file, you give it a face instead, and then they go, and then they kind of sometimes.
And then they go, and they pass you your audit.
Yeah, I've knock on wood, I haven't failed one yet.
I had an audit. I got this big promotion. I probably got 5 cents, and it was a friend of ours. I won't put this on YouTube. So I got this kind of let's test Patrick out in retail banking to see if he could be like the lead supervisor on the teller line or something like that. But you were in charge of the vault, and it was really busy, and you were understaffed and underpaid, and no one person was supposed to have the whole combination to it,
Yeah, because you had to be able to do it together, right?
But everybody did because it was so busy. But I didn't know that. And so like our very good friend goes out on vacation and she says to me, here are the combinations. I know you're only supposed to have one, and so how Audit worked back then is you'd open up your office and they would hide in the bushes to see if you opened the doors the right way, or like they would hide, they'd park down the street, and you had to have different. Dee Dee, my friend Dee Dee, did I tell you, Dee Dee, you remember my friend Dee Dee in Claremont that worked for me?
Yeah.
She died, horrified. Yeah. But she was one of those people that had like 5,000 different like problems over her course of her life. But much like my mother, you just felt like this is just another thing that they're overcome. But yeah, her son found me on her phone when he was cleaning it up.
Oh my God.
But anyway, so if Dee Dee and Patrick had to open the branch, Patrick would sit in the car, Dee Dee would go in and unlock it, and she would the blinds, and that was my cue to go in. So you had to show these two-step processes. But friend goes on vacation, the whole vault thing, you'd show up and the audit people would just be in your lobby. And I remember this woman saying, Patrick, show us, can you show us where you keep the traveler's checks? And I went in with the two combinations. I didn't know. I just thought everybody had two, so anyway. But so on very sexy audit talk, we should probably wind it up, or so one of the things all right, so what are you looking forward to this week? So much on Sundays is about being sad and
Sunday blues.
Sunday blues, as we used to call it, or you coined that. Like, what are you looking forward to this week?
I'm actually really looking forward. I feel very confident about this house. So I'm really looking forward to signing off on that and kind of like having that not be something that I have to worry about anymore. Just, I like to chip away at worries. And then once I'm done with something, and then I can find something else to worry about it. But I really am looking forward to that. And I feel more confident about it this time. So all my eggs in one basket kind of person that I am will probably be a hot mess on the floor tomorrow if we don't get it. But yeah, I think just doing that. How about you?
I am so happy that tomorrow morning at noon, I'm getting my ears and nose waxed. Like I have, it's one of those things like manicures or whatever, like, especially as guys, you're so used to doing that on your own. And I started doing ear waxing in the city as part of this foo-foo place that I would go towards, and then started doing nose waxing.
Oh, the nose wax one just makes me want to like.
Well, like it's what they don't prepare. What I always expected that was going to happen when I got older is I was going to have no hair. So I kept it. It's fine.
Yeah.
But what they don't tell you is, I always say, they don't tell you about nose hair or ear hair. Like, it's just like insane. And so, as you get like gray hairs and all that kind of stuff, it's the worst thing. So it's like a popsicle stick of goop that they put up in your nose, and it doesn't hurt. It really doesn't. Actually, the ears are worse. I think the ears are worse.
The nose for some reason.
So you're like a walrus with these popsicle sticks.
My eyes would water.
No, but it's so great. It's so clean and whatever. I don't know. Maybe in the COVID world, having like a nose full of hair has helped filter.
That's what I was gonna say. Doesn't hair grow for a reason? Like, doesn't it do something? Like, maybe not the ones.
I can't say that. I can't say in a virus. I don't care. Because before, I don't care if I got 100 different colds before and I had a clear inner nostril. I have no problem with that, but
worth it.
But I think now, but yeah, that is what I'm looking. Don't get me wrong, I'm going to be anxious.
Okay.
Because you've got
a person
in your face like this. Well, I've kept up with it. I haven't just let it go.
But I see nothing's coming out.
No, nothing. It's pretty. This is the other thing too. When you get your hair cut, they do it with the mask. So when they go around your ears, she'll just say, "Take this off," and she'll and you hold it.
Right.
But you don't just get look like that. Did it come out well?
So when they do everything though, and you've been keeping up, do you do the wax when you do it yourself? Do you also use wax, or you just pluck?
Well, I have those.
Oh, okay.
But I hate using those because I feel like it's only going to encourage growth when you use that razor approach versus, kind of the whatever. So with my ears, I've been plucking what I can see. Mm-hmm. I mean, I'm not going on any kind of dates or anything, so it's not like that I'm going to have anybody right in my ear. But that I'm looking forward to. Because, I mean, it sounds stupid. I'm getting my ears waxed. It's probably dangerous, and I'm an asshole for be doing it. But
I don't think so. I think it's probably all done very carefully.
I don't know. There's probably a study out there that says corona travels faster in bikini wax or something like that.
Let's hope not.
This is lovely. This is the start of, a great YouTube channel that Colleen and I have been trying to do forever. So this is going to hopefully be at minimum a Sunday thing, definitely more than once. And enjoy your week.
Yeah, absolutely. Bye. Love you, Pat.
Bye. I love you too. Bye.
Bye.